The leash can help us immensely in training and gives us a sense of safety with our leash reactive, aggressive, or fearful dogs. But for it to be able to do that for us, it needs to have specific traits. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I will give you my favorite leash in the end. But first, let's look at the things our leash has to bring or be to actually help us accomplish our goals. The first thing we need is a good grip. So it doesn't slip, because if it slips, it doesn't provide the safety we need to hold our dogs when they react in some kind of way, when they panic, whenever something happens that we did not anticipate, all right? And I like rubber for a really good grip. It doesn't slip through the hands and it doesn't burn the fingers as much as like cotton, right? Or nylon. The second thing the leash needs is an appropriate length. And for that, it really depends on how your dog moves, how your dog reacts, if you have a large dog or small dog, if you are a strong person or a less strong person, all these things. I like 5 meters, or I think it's 16 feet, because it gives the dog enough room to explore and sniff and just be a dog, but I can still have a firm hold on my dog and I can still hold him or her whenever something happens, right? Find the sweet spot that gives you the best feeling and it still gives you a sense of safety. And the same goes for the weight. The leash should not handicap or impair the dog's movement. And especially small dogs sometimes struggle with heavy leashes. And if you have a really heavy bolt or a really heavy leash, it can get your harness to slip to the side, and that's uncomfortable for your dog. So yes, watch out for a well-fitting harness, that's important, but also adjust the weight and the size of the bolt to your dog's size and strength, right? Also, if you use a bolt that's too small, it might break more easily if you have a very strong dog. So this is another safety issue. The next thing is the width of the leash. So how broad is this band? There are leashes that are very thin ropes, and the same goes for flexi leashes. We will not talk about flexi leashes because they are absolutely useless for fearful or reactive dogs. But with a regular leash, there are very thin ropes as well, and those can burn the hands and legs of your dog really, really badly. That's why I don't like them. I want a leash that will not hurt me if I hold on to it tightly, all right? And then we have metal. Usually we have some kind of metal, right? The bolt, or if you have a carabiner, it depends on your dog. And escape artists in our audience might use a climbing carabiner even to have a little bit more security. But on this leash, as you can see, there is no more metal on it. And that's because I have a very sound sensitive dog. It's not her. And the sound of the metal on pavement can actually scare a fearful dog. So be aware of that. And if you have a fearful dog, I would recommend a leash without any metal things on it. Also, if you drag the leash behind you because you're using a long line and let the rest drag behind you, metal things like rings and stuff like that can tangle up in some kind of plant, right? And without the metal things, that doesn't happen as often. And with all of that, you have already seen my favorite leash. Because I like these rubber leashes, they are really easy to hold on to. They do not soak as much water, so they don't become more heavy. They don't become slippery when they're wet. Yes, they're more difficult to clean than biothane. You can just throw them in the washing machine. So there is no issue with that. And I like the Julius Canine because this is a really nice material. It's been in use for years and it hasn't broken anywhere. Always keep in mind that these things can rip. So if you see like small tears on the side, switch to a new one. All right, because it can rip. It happened to me once when little Kalumi was chasing a deer, or tried to chase a deer. She came back immediately when I called, but this is a hard and tag moment, so keep that in mind. And if you want to learn more about how to handle your leash to be absolutely sure you can hold your dog even if you have a very strong dog, watch this video.